close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome to the Star Sport podcast. My name is Jack McCarran of the Southern Star and I'm joined as always by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. On this week's show we'll be chatting to Ireland hockey international David Harte following their gut-wrenching defeat to Canada over the weekend, which all but ended the Green Machine's hopes of Olympic qualification ahead of the Tokyo Games in 2020.
We're also looking ahead to the clash between Gabriel Rangers and Knocknagree this weekend in the Cork Intermediate football final, and in part 2 we'll hear from Gabriels goalkeeper Darran O'Mahony. We'll also preview the Junior B county final between Goleen and St Michaels. Both these games take place at Pairc Ui Rinn on Saturday evening.
But we're going to start with the Irish hockey team, who were left bitterly disappointed following defeat to Canada over the weekend, which has all but ruled them out of next year's Tokyo Olympics. In his match report for the 42.ie, Gavin Casey wrote, Ireland trailed on the night 2-1 but led 6-5 on aggregate until literally the final second, when a video referral by Canada, made while Ireland celebrating having heard the final whistle, resulted in the Canadians being awarded a penalty stroke upon review of it coming together between Ireland's Lee Cole and a Canadian attacker in the Irish circle. Canada went on to equalise, the game went to penalty strokes and the Canadians were victorious. Kinsale's David Harte, who missed the game through injury, has tweeted since then saying hockey careers ended, Olympic dreams shattered, and years of nothing and hard work and dedication from all the players diminished. Honestly, still can't believe what happened at FIH Hockey, a decision that will carry pain for a lifetime. Heartbroken. Kieran, strong words from David, and you spoke to him earlier. We're going to hear that in a minute. But just to give us your understanding of the situation at this point.
It's not looking good for the Irish hockey team, Jack, to be honest. It is like David said there, it's heartbreaking for Ireland. There were some players celebrating Olympic qualification. They thought they were there, they thought they'd booked their tickets to Tokyo next year, but Canada had one video referral left. They threw it up to the video referee, and I'm not going to say in his wisdom, I don't know what word you can use to describe his decision to award Canada that penalty stroke. By all accounts, and I'm no hockey expert, it seems very, very harsh to award a penalty stroke like that. Canada scored and the rest is history, as they say, but it is for the likes of Conor and David Harte from Kinsale and all those Irish hockey players, it's devastating for them, because 1 second you're going to the Olympics, a couple of minutes later you're not going, and for some fellas it could be their last ever time playing for Ireland. So very understandable why David Harte was so disappointed and so down. They put their lives on hold for this. They put everything on the line. They thought they had it. It was ripped away from them at the last second. It wasn't even 5 seconds left. It was 1 second to go, and it was ripped away from them. So, as we'll hear from David now, it's a pretty tough loss to come to terms with. David, I was chatting to you just before you headed off to Vancouver for the Olympic qualification doubleheader against Canada, and it was quite a positive chat, but unfortunately now things didn't work out too well. The weekend just gone. Let's cut straight to it. The final seconds of the second game, Ireland were seconds away from Olympic qualification. Can you just tell us what happened next?
Yeah, Kieran, it wasn't even seconds. It was actually literally just a second, 1 second we had left on the clock. And we're wrongfully given a penalty against, and they scored it and took it to a shootout. And we unfortunately guttingly lost on sudden death shootout, so we did, which meant that our Olympic dream of getting to Tokyo was unfortunately crushed and over.
Like you said there, it was that final second when Canada were awarded that penalty stroke, and that is the bone of contention at the moment, because when that final kind of whistle or final siren went, David, you could see the Ireland players celebrating that they had qualified for the Olympics. Then Canada called for that video referral. Could anyone have imagined that the video referee was going to give a penalty stroke for that?
Yeah, it's still possibly the worst decision I've ever seen at a key moment in a game, and by the guy who was in the video box as the video referral man. What we found out yesterday, actually, unfortunately, was that it was possibly his first ever time doing the video referral in a game. So for me, it's unacceptable that the FIH, the international governing body of sport, actually would allow this and have this. And the both on-pitch umpires said that there was nothing. So as you can imagine, the jubilation as both umpires signaled that the game was almost over, but apparently Canada managed to get their referral in time before the whistle sounded. So they were entitled to ask.
And how unusual is it, David, for the video referee to kind of make such an important call? Because, like, I don't know too much, but what I did take, the referee didn't ask him was it a penalty stroke, but the video referee kind of gave his verdict and said that was a penalty stroke. How unusual is it for that video ref to make a call like that?
Well, I think obviously the ramifications will be yet to come, but it's basically ruins people's lives and sporting careers. A decision like that, and you look at the rule book and you look at all the different things that would denote what you can give a penalty stroke for, and is there intent behind it and all this stuff. But you can clearly see over and over again the videos. Yeah, of course there was a little bit of contact, so you think at most and at the very most a penalty corner. But the fact was the Canadian player wasn't in a goal scoring opportunity, was running towards the end line, was basically almost off of the pitch. It's just mind-boggling that a decision like that can be given, and obviously now has such terrible knock-on effects for all of us.
Is there any room for appeal, David? Is there anything that can be done, or has the kind of ink started to dry in this, and that Ireland aren't going to the Olympics and Canada are?
Yeah, we went straight. We in Hockey Ireland went straight to the TDs, and we didn't sign the match form directly after the game. So it was the statement of intent that the match wasn't officially over because we didn't sign it off, and we were going to go for an appeal. So you have to have an appeal within 2 hours after the final whistle goes, or however the game finishes. But what we were told at the time by the officials of the FIH was that we cannot appeal an umpire's decision, which, for me, obviously is just unbearable, because that was ultimately what cost us everything. So now I'm not sure what the next steps will be taken, but I really do hope that this won't be the end of it, because, as I said, the ramifications that it will have on moving forward, world ranking, sponsorship, funding, everything that goes towards the men's program. It really, it's obviously an unknown now, but moving forward, we know that the FIH will have an awful lot of answers to give us.
You put up a tweet on Monday, and you were saying about how hockey careers ended, Olympic dreams shattered, and years of nothing but hard work and dedication from all the players are diminished. Kind of, you put so much into this, like you literally do put your lives on hold to kind of, and chasing that dream of qualifying for a second successive Olympic Games. Is it very hard to put into words, David, I suppose, the heartbreak you're feeling at the moment, the kind of the anger, the agony, the disappointment?
Yeah, it was, and again, I'm not very controversial on social media by any means, but I had discussed it with a good friend of mine today, just saying that I actually couldn't physically get the words out, just at how upset I was yesterday, and still even today at times there's just moments where you just hit a wall and you still can't quite believe it. I think that will go for the rest of the squad as well. And there's, of course, anger, disappointment, frustration, everything, all emotions that I was feeling at that time to put it out, because I tried to stay silent and I tried to play the politically correct card, but it's really just not acceptable what has happened, and the FIH do have an awful lot to answer for.
What would you like to see the FIH doing this? Would you like to see them come out and address this kind of issue head on and kind of give you some explanation for why the decision was made and the kind of thought process behind it?
Yeah, well, they did come back with one statement, but as you can imagine, like any governing body of sport, with a very broad general comment that we do not comment on individual umpiring decisions. That was it.
Because
so that's also unbelievable.
Because we spoke before you went to Vancouver, and we're talking about 08 and obviously 2012 when Ireland missed out in the Olympics. But I presume when it comes in terms of heartbreak, David, this must hurt the most, because there was literally that second when the Ireland players were celebrating, they thought they were at the 2020 Olympics. So it is a huge body blow for everyone.
To be very, very honest with you, kid, I've never felt as low or like this in my life. To 2012, of course, the heartbreak we experienced in Dublin against South Korea that time, that was different, We had created something special on home soil, got into the final when we weren't expected to, and really punched above our weight against Korea in the final. So I think, the feeling of expectation wasn't quite there, but compared to this trip to Vancouver, where, in that 2 games against a side like Canada are very, very reachable and tangible goal for us, and obviously to be as gut-wrenchingly close as we were. The fact was that the final whistle had been blown, and there was guys of us celebrating, picking each other up, hugging. So you had the jubilation of qualifying, to literally just the depths of despair of seeing them award a penalty stroke and knowing that it has just put a lot of us, all our dreams for us to get back to an Olympic Games, for those who had been to Rio, and for those guys coming through who didn't experience Rio, to really go and experience one of the greatest experiences of someone's life.
I really hope you do get the answers that you're looking for in the next couple of days and weeks, David. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, Kieran.
Thanks for listening to the Star Sport Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things sport in West Cork. Don't forget to pick up this Thursday's Southern Star newspaper, including our award-winning sports section with everything a West Cork sports fan could want. In shops across West Cork and online from anywhere in the world via www.thesouthernstar.ie/e-paper. The Southern Star and the Star Sport Podcast, #1 for sport in West Cork.
On Saturday evening at Pairc Ui Rinn, Gabriel Rangers aim to continue their recent surge up the ranks when they meet Knocknagree in the Cork Intermediate football final at 7 p.m. And Kieran, it's just 3 years since they won the Junior Championship. How big of a deal would it be to see them go up to Premier Intermediate as champions?
That'd be massive, absolutely massive for Gabriel's, Jack. As we know, that the 2 finalists in this year's Intermediate Football Championship, that's Gabriels and Knocknagree, are already promoted to next year's Premier Intermediate Championship. So whatever happens on Saturday evening, at least they have Premier Intermediate football to fall back on. But to go up as champions would be huge. It'd be massive for Gabriels. Like you said there, 3 years ago, they won the Cork Junior Championship, and that's after winning the Carbery Junior Championship. And that year they got to the Munster Junior Final too, where they came up short against Glencar. So the kind of bones of this Gabriel's team is still there. The likes of Eddie Goggin, Mark Crone and Stephen O'Mahony's back there. The evergreen Pat Nolan, 49 years of age, and he played full back there against Drumtariff in the semi-final that they won 16 points to 15. So like the bones
just take a minute to just let 49. That sink in. That's incredible, isn't it? It
is, yeah. And I think we've spoken about Pat before here. It's his dedication that just gets me. Like, he's living up, I think it's either Mallow or Macroom, and he travels up and down to training. Like, he's 49, That's commitment. If you wanted inspiration in a club, there you go. Like, if a fella puts in the work like that and to keep himself in shape first and foremost, and then just to play at this level, I think that's huge inspiration for everyone involved. So after
I put myself through like an hour's training, I honestly complained for a week about little aches and pains, but I'm going to stop now based on the inspiration.
You start to feel bad, so Pat Nolan makes you feel bad.
Well, it's just it's if a man of 49 can still go and play Gaelic football at an extremely high level, like, and then you have lazy buggers like myself complaining about tiny aches and pains after going for a 5-kilometre jog, like, so it's embarrassing, really.
It is embarrassing,
Jack. I hang my head in shame, and I wish Pat all the best.
We'd said nothing here in the office for a couple of months, but now since you bring it up, you are right. But yeah, but to be fair, Gabriel's, they probably have it all to do because Knocknagree are quite a good side. I was just looking there. I have it here. Their scores so far. What they've put up this year, I thought I had it. So what they've put up this year in their path to the final, they put up 319 against y'all and only conceded 5 points. The next game they scored 218 and only conceded 110. Ahabulla in the quarterfinal, they won 213 to 1-6. Mill Street in the semi-final, 320 to 1-8. So they're not just beating teams, they're hockeying teams out the gate. So Gabriels will be up against it. Knocknagree will start as the favourites, but go back to 3 years ago and that county winning championship that we spoke about when Gabriels won the Junior A Football Championship. They actually beat Knocknagree that year in the semi-final after a replay. Finished 2-10 apiece the first day. Gabriels won the second day 2-9 to 14. So they have beaten this Knocknagree team. So it's definitely within their capabilities. But before we go ahead to the interview with Darran O'Mahony, we have to have a shout out to the administrator of the Gabriel Rangers Wikipedia page, Jack, because We all love a good Wikipedia page, don't we?
Yeah, well, as most people, it's very easy. As I'm like most people, it's very easy to get caught down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. It happens to me almost on a daily basis. But when I clicked onto the Gabriel Rangers Wikipedia page today, I was...
It's brilliant. I think it's quite brilliant. I think I'll just read out some of the lines. It kind of starts off pretty normal. Gabriel Rangers is a Gaelic Athletic Association club based in the villages of Skull and Ballydehob in County Cork, Ireland.
Oh, so far so good.
The club fields teams in both Gaelic football and hurling.
Okay, yeah, that's their crest would also show that they have hurls and footballs on their crest. So it's true again.
Now it starts to take a turn. The club is affiliated to Lukey Nolan.
Okay, interesting. I don't know who Lukey Nolan is to you.
Lukey is he's a legend of the club, to be quite fair.
Okay.
I'm not sure is it affiliated to him, but maybe it is. The club has won 7 All-Ireland senior hurling titles. I didn't know that.
Neither did I, but Wikipedia just rarely tells fallacies.
Goalkeeper Darran O'Mahony once pulled the Dan O'Mahony statue out of the ground and threw it over the 12-arch bridge. It's phenomenal, really. Kind of
phenomenal strength.
The physical achievement of that alone, kind of, I don't think winning a county would even compare to that.
And for anyone who's not familiar with the Dan O'Mahony statue in the village of Ballydehob, this is like I'd say 10-foot iron statue of a wrestler from the 1950s who toured America, originally from Ballydehob. But for any one man to be able to pull that up out of the ground and carry it across the 12-arch bridge and throw it in, that says a lot about Darran O'Mahony.
I think Darran O'Mahony's 12 foot tall. I don't think the Wikipedia page has been updated yet, but it might be after. And then it goes on to say the 2016 Night at the Dogs was a great success, with the club raising enough money to pay for a new set of knees for Eric O'Brien. That's fantastic that money raised from a Night at the Dogs goes towards a good cause.
Yeah, and I'd like to just say congratulations to the club on raising that money, and all the best to Eric O'Brien and his new knees.
So hopefully those knees will see him in good state when Gabriels run out against Knocknagree this Saturday night. And now we're just going to catch up with goalkeeper Darran O'Mahony, the man who once pulled the Dan O'Mahony statue out of the ground and threw it over the 12-arch bridge. Hey, Darran, before we had this chat, I said I'd do a bit of research, and I went on the Gabriel Rangers GAA Wikipedia page, and I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but you're on the Wikipedia page, Darran, and I'm going to read you out the line. Goalkeeper Darran O'Mahony once pulled the Dan O'Mahony statue out of the ground and threw it over the 12-arch bridge. So I'm just hoping you can clear that up, Darran. I presume that's true, is it?
That's 100% true. Yeah, ask James O'Reilly about it there in Skull. He decided to do a bit of playing around with the Wikipedia page this year, having a bit of fun with that. In fairness to him, so yeah. So it was a bit of crack.
Oh, great stuff. Obviously, huge night for the club on Saturday night, the County Intermediate football final. But before we talk about that, I suppose let's go back to the semi-final against Drumtariff, and that was a game with 2 kind of prizes on offer, Darran. Kind of the winner obviously went through to the final, but also kind of won a place in next year's Premier Intermediate Football Championship. So talk to me about that first, about kind of winning promotion, you could say, to next year's Premier Intermediate Championship.
Well, I suppose it's a thing of dreams, really. Only 3 years ago we were a junior club, and I've been playing since 2004, and like trying to even win a West Cork was a difficult task, let alone to winning a county, and then to go where we've gone now, it's a thing of dreams. I never would have envisaged it there. I suppose 3 years ago we had such a great year that I thought was that my final chance. But look, we've got another chance, and we're after going up again. And it's great for the club, it's great for the parish, it's great for the young lads coming up there. We've a bunch of minors coming up there next year. So look, it's great for them. As I said, they're the lucky ones. They never had to slog it out in junior. They're going straight into the Premier Intermediate grade next year, which is great for the club,
Like you mentioned there, back in 2016, that's the year Gabriels won the Carbery Junior A and the County Junior A, went all the way into the Munster final as well against Glencar.
That's right.
How much can you take from that season, kind of, Darran? Kind of like, especially like playing in big games like that, like in county finals and so on. Like, can you use some of that experience going into next Saturday night?
Look, next Saturday night it's still only a game of football. It's 2 teams, it's 2 posts. It's the best team of the night is going to win. Yes, there's the added pressure to the county final, but look, we'll take from 2016. But look, Knocknagree went all the way to the All Ireland final in 2017 and won it, so they're well used to it as well. like again, it'll be great for the locality now that we'll see big numbers up there Saturday night to cheer us on. And look, sure, you never know what can happen on the night. Hopefully we'll have a chance anyway.
When you look back on the semi-final against Drumtariff, and that's a game that Gabriels won 16 points to 15, very, very tight game. We need to put it out there in the end when Drumtariff went on a bit of a run in the last quarter. What are the big positives that you can take from that performance and result, Darren?
I suppose we dug deep. We were 4 points down 15 minutes into the second half. Nothing was sticking. Nothing was going right for us. We dug in. Eddie Goggin sort of pulled it out of the fire, and then Shawnee Kelleher's free there at the end to win. It was just an unbelievable free, and it was a great feeling. And yeah, I suppose look, we dug deep. We had to dig very, very deep to get that result, and it's a good trait to show the lads that we never gave up, I suppose, you know.
And looking to the final now, obviously, like you mentioned there, Knocknagree kind of they've All-Ireland pedigree as well. They hammered Mid Street in the other semi-final. That was 320 to 1-8. What do you expect off Knocknagree, Darren?
A very good football team. I suppose we had the pleasure of playing against them twice, blowing Ballyvorney in 2016. They're a very good team. Look, we'll be up against it, but sure, we'll give them a go. But they're a very well-rounded team, and from their defence the whole ways up, I suppose they've been coached very well by John Fenton Daly, and they're on merit. They're there, you know.
Looking at the Gabriels team, kind of obviously there's some of the usual suspects from the last couple of years, like you could see Mark Cronin, Eddie Goggin, and so on. And then you see Pat Nolan starting in the semi-final at full back. I think Pat is he 49 now or something like that, Darren? Like it's incredible.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. Like kind of, I suppose he's commitment to the cause first, and he travels up and down for training. Like, but for like he keeps himself so well. Like, you know, he must be an inspiration to everyone inside there to see someone like Pat Nolan travelling up and down and still giving so much to the cause.
Look, it's the love of the club. We all do it. Like Pat has been doing it for the last. Probably we were only messing with him Saturday night in the club. Like he was 36 years of age or something like that before he even won a West Cork medal. Not to mind, say, a county. So you know, like he's there. He's done it for the cause. It's unbelievable, and it is inspirational. It's what Pat has done for the club now, and he's unreal. And like you never think he's 49 years of age the way he can still motor around the pitch. In fairness to him.
He probably gives you all hope that you'll still be playing into your late 40s, does he?
I wish. I wish. Unfortunately, no, my legs are starting to give up already.
Your legs might be giving up, but I see again from the Wikipedia page that Eric O'Brien got a new set of knees after the 2016 Night of the Dog, so you never know, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
Even after the semi-final win against Drumtariff, your manager Brian Hayes was having a chat to the Star, and he said we are a very small club and we've been written off all year, but we savour days like these. And I'm sure too, Darren, you're going to savour the build up to this county final this Saturday night. What's it like out home at the moment?
It was great. Like I'm based in Cork now myself, and I was home for the long weekend, and you know it was brilliant. People going up wishing you best of luck and sort of saying how are you fixed, and yeah, it's great. It gives a great buzz around the place, and you know it gives people an interest, and like as I say, like it's all about the future with the young kids and all the young fellas there. It's all about them, to get them and bring them along and see where they can go in years to come, and that's what it's all about, really, building for the future.
And with Goleen are playing in the Junior B county football final at just before you. That's 5:15. Hopefully we get a big West Cork crowd up in Pairc Ui Rinn this Saturday night to support the two Carberry teams.
Yeah, sure. Look, it's great. Like Dan O'Callaghan, the Goleen captain, his first cousins with Gerard O'Callaghan, the Gabriels captain, and Dan's brother Kieran will be playing on the Gabriels team. So look, there's a lot of goodwill between the two clubs, and look. Hopefully they can do the business as well. They've been knocking the door for a couple of years now, and they deserve that bit of luck to just, you know, get over the line and finally go up to junior one, which I think they deserve to be up there now at this stage, you know.
Fingers crossed for both of you this Saturday night, and hopefully there'll be a new entry to the Wikipedia page on Sunday morning for you. So best of luck and thanks for joining us, Darren.
Very good. Thanks very much, Ciara.
Saturday's intermediate final will be played as part of a double header at Pairc Ui Rinn as Gabriel's neighbours Goleen meet St Michaels in the Junior B final. And what's interesting about this is that back in 2016, When Gabriels last won a championship, Goleen also tasted their last championship success, winning the Junior C title. So there's some symmetry here if conspiracy theories are your thing. Kieran, this is a big day for Goleen.
Huge day for Goleen, Jack. Massive altogether. And it's great to see that both Gabriels and Goleen are it's a double header. Common sense has been used, which is great to see them both up in Pairc Ui Rinn on Saturday evening. For Goleen already lost the County Junior B final to Grange earlier in the year, and that was a championship that was confined to just B teams. That was also played up in Pairc Ui Rinn, and for most of that Goleen gang, it was their first time playing in Pairc Ui Rinn. So at least they have that experience behind them as they take on St Michaels this Saturday evening. Goleen had a good win against Bride Rovers in the semi-final. We mentioned Pat Nolan there. John Cullinan is another evergreen for Goleen. I'm going to get it wrong now, John, so apologies. He's either 45, 46 or 47. I can't remember which one. I'm going to go 46. But he could even be 47. But again, like Pat Nolan, to have fellas like that soldiering kind of year after year is fantastic. Very good Goleen team. They have some young fellas coming through as well. Gino Donovan is the manager. Dan O'Callaghan is the captain. There'll be bonfires kind of raging all weekend if Goleen could do it. They have a very good chance. Like I said, they did a good win against Bride Rovers in the semi-final. They did dig it out in the second half after a sparkling first half display. So fingers crossed, Jack, that there'll be celebration on the double for Goleen and Gabriel Rangers this Saturday evening.
Thanks for listening to the Star Sport Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things sport in West Cork. Don't forget to pick up this Thursday's Southern Star newspaper, including our award-winning sports section with everything a West Cork sports fan could want. In shops across West Cork and online from anywhere in the world via www.thesouthernstar.ie/e-paper. The Southern Star and the Star Sport Podcast, #1 for sport in West Cork.
Welcome back to the Star Sport Podcast, and before we wrap up today's show, we're going to quickly look at what's coming up in this week's paper. But first, we want to announce the winner of last week's competition, which was for the International Road Bowling Book. Thanks to everyone who entered. We'll have more prizes coming up in future podcasts, but there can only be one winner, and it is Conor Cotter from Macroom. So congratulations to you, Conor. That book is on the way to Macroom. Now, Kieran, this week's Southern Star, I've no doubt it's going to be a good one based on what I've seen so far walking through the corridors.
Am I allowed to bring back our old phrase, Jack? It's been a while now. It's been an absolute while, and I know we got a couple of complaints against it.
We did.
One man from Adrigole, if he's listening to it, he may hang his head in shame. But it is a cracker, Jack, an absolute cracker. We've lots going on. A bank holiday weekend full of sport. Congratulations to Éire Oak, who won the County Premier Intermediate Football Championship. They beat St Michaels, so we've full report and reaction from that. Goes without saying that we previews of Gabriel Rangers and Gabriel Rangers and Goleen's county finals this weekend. Also, St James's are in County Junior A Football Championship semi-final action this Sunday, and we have a full page interview with Captain Joe O'Sullivan, who recently picked up West Cork Sports Star Monthly Award. The interesting thing talking to Joe was that he was telling me, Jack, that his first year when he was 16, his first year with the adult team in St James's, he never told his parents. He told his parents he was training with the under-21s when he was actually in with the big boys. He said it did him no harm at all, but his parents thought he was too small and they didn't want him to get hurt. So they had his best interest at heart. But like you said, it's all worked out well. He's now captain St James's to their first ever Carbery Junior A Football Championship. They're now in a county semi-final. They have a chance to get through to county finals. So stuff of dreams, really. As well as that, we've a review of the first week of the Carnivery for West Cork teams, and it was a particularly good week for Hamilton High School, and I caught up with their manager Rob Holohan to get his thoughts. What else have we have loads going on?
There's an interesting extract.
Ah, yes, the extract, yes.
In this week's paper.
Yes, Something in the Water, the new book about Skibbereen Rowing Club. I suppose it's the story of how Skibbereen Rowing Club conquered the world.
Who, may I ask, has penned this new book?
He's a dashing Southern Star sports editor, So, no, it's brilliant. Yeah, so we've an extract from from the book in this week's Star, kind of a nice exclusive for Southern Star readers. One of my favourite parts of the book, actually, it's about John Whelly and the dirty water bottle. I'll say no more. I'll pick up the Star on Thursday.
There's a teaser, if ever there was, to make someone want to buy the Star.
Yeah, the dirty water bottle. And what I liked about this is that John Whelly didn't know that the water bottle was dirty until the Star was until this book was published, and it was only released last week. So just on that, Jack, the launch of Something in the Water is in the West Cork Hotel in Skibbereen this Friday night at 7 o'clock, and there's an open invitation for everyone to pop along and attend. A lot of the rowers will be there. A lot of the heroes who were championed in the book will be there. It should just be a great night, you know.
And a chance to get a signed copy, I hope.
Oh yeah, I'll be there too. Kind of, I'll be get selfies with the author. I think, you know, I'm going to have a little stall set up in the background, kind of selfies and autographs with the author. So. And
is there going to be like a charge for this meet and greet?
We'll see how it goes. Maybe for the next one there might be. Yeah. But it's free this Friday night.
Free Friday night. Come down to the West Cork Hotel. What time? 7 p.m.
7 p.m. West Cork Hotel. Like I said, you get to meet some of the kind of the real heroes behind this. It's the men and women of Skibbereen Rowing Club who have turned this country West Cork rural club into a juggernaut.
World beaters,
like the most successful rowing club in the country, and it's a very interesting story. And this is the first time that their story has been told, and it was a great. I suppose I got a big thumbs up last week when the book was shortlisted for the Board Gosh Energy Irish Sports Book of the Year award. We're down to the final 6, so it would be great if people too could vote for the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Some stiff competition in there, but wouldn't it be great to see a book about Skibbereen Rowing Club landing a national award that it deserves? I've been lucky enough to see some of the book. I haven't read it in its totality yet, but I intend to. But it's an absolute cracking read. So get online. We've tweeted out the link and put it on Facebook. Show your support for Skibbereen Rowing Club and our great sports editor Kieran McCarthy.
Thank you for those kind words, Jack. No, brilliant. Like we said, lots going on in this week's Star. So again, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast. We'll be back at the same time next week. So if you enjoy these shows, please make sure to rate, review and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Acast, Stitcher or wherever else you listen to the show.